Hey guys, welcome to NFTs That. I'm your host Agne, and we all kind of know that it might be difficult for millennials to buy property because of our rotten economy. Thanks, boomers. Good thing is that if you are fussy about buying the property, you should remember that we're slowly moving into the Metaverse, so you better be getting fussy about buying the right one. A new promising NFT project, Properties, is here to tell you everything about where you can live in the Metaverse, what you can do. They have a story, they have a mission, they have a house for you right there in the digital world. More about that from the creators of Properties, Konrad and Joseph. Welcome, guys.
Hi, nice to meet you.
That was a huge intro. Now you have a lot to tell. So, first of all, let me just say that Properties is not just a random NFT, so we want to hear the story behind it, the idea behind it. What is Properties?
I think what we usually say is that Properties started as the idea of giving homes to avatars. So as maybe a lot of you know, avatar projects are popping off the ground a lot. Where are they gonna live, especially if we're looking at the Metaverse later on? So that's really the idea. We try to bridge it in a way that people would intuitively get what to do with the NFTs, which is collect them, similar to maybe the board game Monopoly. So we have color-coded cards, and they are then collected. The more you collect of the same color, you form streets, districts, and cities. And the more you have of that, you will be able to claim a utility token called bricks. That's our fuel for our ecosystem. It has no monetary value to people other than making sure that they can buy avatars in the Metaverse, they can buy new outfits, interior and exterior for the homes, participate in games, watch content, all of the stuff that you can do in a Metaverse, either from the activity side or from a cosmetical standpoint.
So basically you have a pretty big team, as I understand, and when did you exactly start to, when was the day one of Properties NFT?
So the idea started, I would say, 16 weeks ago, 4 months about that. And we are now in our 14th week of running the Discord and running the open operations. So it was a 2-week ideation phase and setting everything up. And then we were very fast to market, which is a good thing in general, but also obviously with being fast, you might run into some unforeseen hurdles along the way, but so far we did pretty well in overcoming all of those. So we are doing our private sale, which is a whitelist sale on the 10th of December, and on the 12th, 48 hours later, will be the public mint.
Joe, would you like to join the conversation?
Yeah.
How did you come into the team?
So prior to this, I was involved with another NFT project, the Uninterested Unicorns. And that's where I really, build up my knowledge about NFTs and the community in this space, and really started understanding what people were looking for and what people wanted. Sometime around the launch of the project, Konrad approached me to, if I was interested in kind of doing something with him, and we really clicked well before he approached me, and I thought it would be fun, right? To work together. So I decided to ask him, what the project was about. And when he brought up the whole Monopoly aspect, and then we started discussing the whole Metaverse aspect, that's what really got me in.
Okay, what I want to ask about, first of all, is the big name on your roadmap, Landbolt. Yeah, and let's just get out the way the huge fact that you are going to be settling in the sandbox.
I think Joe will be able to talk a bit more about decision to bring Landbolt in. But for us, just to say how we were thinking about going to approach a Metaverse was really there are some projects out there that are really good, and we like a lot of them. All of them have their different appeals. For us, what made the decision was where will the attention be, and where can we bring people in and onboard them in a compelling way into an immersive world where everything they do is connected to fun, and not just a real life scenario on a digital level, but something that they can enjoy to spend their time in, similar to all the games that we used to play as kids and even grown-ups. So that's why we did it. And Joe was actually the one proposing Land Vault. So maybe Joe is able to comment on that as well.
It's kind of difficult, even if we know quite a lot now about the metaverse and NFTs themselves. It's kind of difficult to imagine what will be the final product, final result, right? What will we find well Sandbox opens their door, right? And what is your progress right now? Where are you at right now? What's happening with the Land Vault?
We decided to bring in Land Vault because I truly, until now, still believe like they have the expertise to help us understand Sandbox, and also like the expertise to build. They have the capability and the capacity to help us. And that's why we've really partnered on it. And we're gonna start building the Metaverse really like the week after we mint. So right now we already have land secured. The 6x6 on Sandbox is already secured, and in the future, 1 week after mint, we're gonna start building, and everything right now is under Land Vault because they're gonna be our builders. And once they build everything out, then it will be, I guess, like brought back to us. So as of right now, the timeline is that on the day Sandbox opens to the public, we're gonna be there 100%.
Why did you choose Sandbox instead of, quite a few other options?
As I said, we are primarily looking at Sandbox because that is where the attention is, right? All the big IPs that are currently working with metaverses are there. Big global brands, big brands from the NFT and crypto space, all the big exchanges. So we saw that there was an opportunity to be close to those and grow together as a community and grow the ecosystem out, versus being on other metaverses that might not get the same attention at the moment. And with that, we're not saying we will never be there. We closed some partnerships to ensure that we will be where the action is along the way. But for now, we place our bets on Sandbox primarily because of the attention and the great user experience that is already happening with their alpha pass currently being out. Joe is already live streaming some of the experiences to the community, and they all love it. And we see that whether or not there might be something bigger in the future, Sandbox is definitely a good place for us to start. It's something that is native to a lot of people in our community. That is why we chose it.
But speaking of the future and possible partnerships or other metaverses that you mentioned, anything to sneak peek on right now?
Yeah, so maybe some people have already seen it. Metamundo, another metaverse-focused company, has recently closed its 2.7, I believe, million funding round with Animoca brands, with the Digital Currency Group, and a lot more. We were also part of that investment round. And what Metamundo is doing is they are ensuring interoperability between metaverses. So every metaverse that can host buildings in 3D design, we will be able to transport our buildings right away and have them integrated into all of those platforms much easier and much more efficient than before. That's why we closed those partnerships. It's really for us to ensure that whatever the future may be, we are at least prepared and can accommodate that much more flexibly than would be the case if we wouldn't deal with those partnerships.
On the flip side, Metaverse, as NFTs themselves, is still kind of new thing. New technology is going on, and some things might slip. Some things might slip off, and some projects might just, face the wall because of unknown reasons. How do you feel about your project, or just Metaverse in general, about the, possibility of risks maybe? And
I think something I want to emphasize is that we're not just putting all of our eggs in one basket, right? We're not betting 100% on Sandbox. I think we're choosing Sandbox first because one, of the attention, two, of like the gamification abilities of Sandbox, and how you can have play to earn games on Sandbox, which is what I guess we really believe will increase the attention and increase the number of users on Sandbox. That's why we're kind of betting on them. But we've partnered with Metamundo to really be able to go where people want to be, right? To go where the attention is. And like you said, there's a lot of metaverses right now, and then there's some that are like still even in beta. Like the creators are still creating it to the point where there's no information about it yet. And with us, like we're putting our bets, like we're diversifying our bets, right? So we don't rely on just one. So if, say, one of the metaverses die, people stop going to it, or something happens with the company, something that happens with the development team, we would still have like backups, and we would still have other things that we would be able to entertain our audience in, and kind of help our audience get used to.
That's kind of the answer I was looking for. Like, do you have a backup plan in this wild, wild west? Because it is what it is. I also want to talk about your smaller partnerships a little bit, because, well, Metamundo is one recent big one, right? Do I have a right impression that all the projects that you collaborate with right now, that you have partnership with, will be included into your, let's say, communities, cities, and everything that you will have in the Sandbox Metaverse?
What really is the concept is that next to our own buildings and our own world, we are trying to build out a world where it's supplemented with all of those community clubhouses, whether it's artists that have a gallery, content creators that might be featured in a cinema, or any avatar project that has a clubhouse that is unique to their kind of style and their community. We want to build out a social ecosystem, a social network where people can come together to not only play, but to socialize, get to know people from other parts of the world and other communities of the space. That's why we are so keen on building all of those partnerships. Is really, we want to be the platform for them to express themselves, to create content, and to get that audience that they deserve. That audience is definitely coming from all of those partnerships and their individual communities coming together on one land.
That is very much what I understood, and that is what I was looking for in your answer, because I think that's the greatest idea. It will really boost the social aspect, And speaking of social aspect, are you even thinking about including, well, something that, in my opinion, would boost it even more, real-life partnerships with social personalities, maybe big personalities, celebrities, maybe big brands, something like that?
So right now we are in a lot of talks, actually, especially with outside brands. It is a lot longer of a discussion. It's a lot more care that they put towards, a lot more risks that they see to their reputation if they are associated with the space. But we are in talks with a lot of celebrities, actually, majorly athletes, but also musicians and artists. We want to give them a platform and want to help them be a first mover in the space. We do that, one, because we would love to onboard new people to the space and let them enjoy what we are so excited about, but also to help those celebrities and artists to increase their reach in a new target market. For all of us, I think it's very interesting to see how non-native NFT communities would behave in such an environment, but we are eager to find out, and we are helping them to be educational and protective on that side, so that no one that is totally unfamiliar with the space ends up in a situation where everything they do is putting a risk to them. We want people to enjoy it, and especially if it's communities where big celebrities put their name. Who we are talking to, I cannot mention. We're in NDAs with all of them, but I guess some of them the people will find out in due time.
I was about to ask, can you name drop a little, but yeah, well,
I'm sorry. I would love to brag about it, because it's exciting us, but yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah, I assumed, but I was just, that's my job. But speaking of name drops or sneak peeks or whatsoever, This is just a segment that we do in every NFT interview, and a lot of them do not air, trust me. But do you maybe have any sneaky peeky announcements that you never announced before, or maybe are planning to announce in a week, and you would like to announce specifically on the show?
Yeah, maybe something that is not announced yet. What we are very excited about is that we are enabling people that are owning our NFTs to use those NFTs on their land. If they own a land in Sandbox, they are able to take that house that they own and put it on their own land and use that free of charge. They will have all the rights to use it and monetize on it. But that is something that the community doesn't know yet, that we're also withholding a bit. We will also not carry this out after the interview. It will stay a secret until the end of December. If people see this right now, ta-da! If not, very good.
I mean, do you know how happy I am to know these things beforehand? Just feels so special.
Thank you for giving us a platform. So we're happy to drop one or two of those things. We have a few more coming. I would hate to spoil all the fun, but that is one of the fun parts that we're excited about and that we want to share.
But that's actually such a great news, because when I hear about your project, right, and I researched it a little bit before the interview, this is what I imagine would be the next good step to do, right? This would be something that I would want to be able to do in the metaverse in general, and especially with the project which includes, well, property, you know. I want to talk about metaverse with both of you. I want to hear your both personal opinions on this. How do you imagine the metaverse growing in, I don't know, a year or 5 years period? Maybe let's talk about that. Like, what is the big dream?
For me, what a metaverse is the extension of something that we are already super used to, right? Every one of us is probably in front of a screen most of their lives at the moment. I know very few people in my circles that manage to stay off screen longer than they are on screen, whether that's TV, their phones or their laptops, iPads. What a metaverse really can be is an extension of yourself to a digital world, where the digital world is broader, it's more immersive, and instead of just sitting in front of a screen and tapping messages in, you're really able to socialize through your avatar. You can be whoever you want to be. You can experience whatever you want to be with very limited opportunities to your experience. And to me, the metaverse is the next natural progression of what a social network is and what digital experiences are, right? You can watch videos on it, so YouTube may need to adapt. You can have conversations and interact with people, form groups. So Facebook, Instagram, they're all now in a position where the metaverse can really integrate all of that into a new setting. And otherwise, right, a Facebook wouldn't rebrand itself to Meta if there wouldn't be a very strong point to make that this can be the next thing. So that is the positives, I think. With that, there's also negatives, right? And where I can see that, especially on the long-term view, those metaverses can be very immersive, can be very close to real life. I already saw that Zuckerberg is creating those gloves, which let you feel stuff in the metaverse if you put them on. So a lot of it can be too realistic to a point where people might lose touch with reality, and that is something that the properties team is always pushing, is, tell people to find a good balance. We would love to have people experience our world in all the different ways and colors that it can be experienced. But I personally, and I know it's the same for Joe and the rest of the team, we would really hate it to be at a point where people are so immersed into that world that their real life is just more or less worthless at that point.
Yeah, and to jump off that, it's even on the Discord right now, we see a lot of people that are literally saying that they're skipping sleep or skipping real life events to be on Discord because they enjoy it. And to me, it's I'm very happy to hear that that they enjoy the community that we have built. They've made friends from our community as well. I'm very happy to hear that. But I also believe that we really should take health as a priority, because the metaverse being virtual, but you still have to be alive. You still have to be healthy to partake in the metaverse, right? And that's why, like long-term vision-wise, we want to have some real-life events, real-life gatherings as well, and not everything is just on the metaverse. Not everything is just virtual.
Very nice to hear. And if we're talking, why I asked about the metaverse in a long term, because I want to hear about properties in a long term, as much as you can think of right now, realistically, right? Because we all know every NFT project has plans for a movie, a game, a comic book, everything, right? Every single one of them. So realistically, what are your long-term plans shortly?
All the things you mentioned right there, we are trying to host as many of them. We want to be a platform, a social platform primarily filled with experiences similar to maybe what Facebook was back then, right? What was it? A content platform for people to express themselves, a platform to play mini games, to watch video content, to engage with people socially. And we want to be that on the metaverse. So essentially our plan is to be a mini meta in a way. And, with that, we can be a media agency. We can, help other brands onboard to that if they're not native to it. We're able to, sponsor projects, maybe take a VC approach of, helping other projects enter the metaverse and show them how to monetize it the right way. And if the idea is good, we can also fund it. That's already what we're doing right now. But the plan is to extend that a bit and help grow out our ecosystem by empowering others. How long-term that is, or where we are going to be, I would say, given that the space is so volatile, I will not be able to comment on that so much. For now, it's Sandbox. In the future, it's different metaverses where the attention is. And if along the way we are in a position where there is enough interest and enough funding to create our own sort of metaverse, we are happy to do so. But for now, we want to be that social platform, and we want to empower other people to play a role in that social platform and express themselves or grow their audience through it.
Okay, so that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much. You actually taught me a little bit more than I knew before, though I thought I did my research. So this seems like an even better project than I even thought before, and I invited you to talk about it, so I already thought it was amazing. So Konrad and Joseph, thank you very much for coming, and I hope your community will like this interview. So that's it, guys. I'll see you next week on NFTs That. And I don't really have a project to interview on my mind yet. So if you have any project on your mind, leave it in the comments below, and maybe I will interview just that project's creators. See you next week.